Andre Dawson, the Hall of Famer known for his quiet strength and fierce competitiveness on the field, was visibly shaken when news broke of the passing of his former teammate and dear friend, Ryne Sandberg. A bond forged during their unforgettable years with the Chicago Cubs in the 1980s and early 1990s had transcended time and competition. Dawson, never one for dramatic displays or public emotion, opened his heart in a deeply moving tribute that left the sports world mourning right beside him. The news of Sandberg's death was not only a blow to the baseball community, but a personal tragedy for Dawson, who had considered Ryne more than just a teammate. "He wasn't just the guy who stood next to me on the field," Dawson shared in an emotional statement. "He was my brother in every sense. He was a leader without words, a heart without limits, and a friend without conditions." Their story began when Dawson joined the Cubs in 1987, the same year he won the National League MVP. Sandberg was already the golden child of Wrigley Field, a second baseman with a glove of gold, an all-star bat, and the respect of fans and players alike. What could have been a clash of egos became instead a symphony of shared excellence. Dawson found in Sandberg a teammate who carried himself with grace and professionalism, whose dedication to the game mirrored his own. They bonded through road trips, long practices, and the grind of 162 games, leaning on each other during tough stretches and celebrating together when the Cubs found moments of magic. "Thoughtful Rhino and I had a lot of silent understandings," Dawson recalled. "He wasn't loud, neither was I, but we both led by example, and that gave us a unique chemistry." That chemistry translated into an era of Cubs baseball that, while not defined by championships, was rich with character, hope, and unforgettable performances. When Dawson learned of Sandberg's passing, he was with his grandchildren. His daughter showed him the alert on her phone. According to family members, the stoic slugger sat in silence before quietly excusing himself. Later that evening, he penned a widely shared and deeply admired statement. "Sad, I never thought I'd have to write something like this," he began. "You go through life thinking your teammates will be there forever. You think the guy who turned two with such ease, who wore that uniform like a second skin, who smiled quietly in the dugout as if he had a secret, will be around for every old-timer's day, every induction, every reunion." Emotional Ryne Sandberg was one of the best men I ever knew. Dawson described Sandberg as a gentleman's gentleman, a player who made the hard things look easy and never once put himself above the team. Though a superstar in every respect, he never let fame distort his humility. He would show up early, leave late, and never complain. Thoughtful, he was the kind of player you wanted your son to grow up to be. Their friendship extended beyond baseball. After both retired, they kept in touch through charity events, golf tournaments, and quiet dinners where life, not baseball, took center stage. "We'd talk about our families, about faith, about legacy," Dawson said. Thoughtful, Ryne loved his kids fiercely. He spoke of them with pride and awe. He never took his blessings for granted. They often saw each other during Hall of Fame weekends in Cooperstown. Fans who saw them together described their connection as wordless, a powerful presence of two men who had been through the fire of elite competition and come out the other side as lifelong friends. "It's rare," Dawson said during an interview. "It's rare to find someone in this business who's not just great at the game, but great at being human." That was Rhino. He shared stories from the clubhouse, like the time Sandberg quietly bought lunch for the entire team after a grueling road trip, or when he consoled a rookie who had just been sent down to Triple-A. He wasn't flashy with his kindness, he just did the right thing over and over again. Dawson also recalled Sandberg's Hall of Fame induction speech in 2005. "I remember sitting there, proud and emotional, as he spoke about respect for the game, the fans, the uniform. That word, respect, was his compass. That's something I'll always carry with me." Dawson ended his tribute with a promise. "I will honor Ryne by living the values he held dear: hard work, grace under pressure, love for the game, and most importantly, love for others. I'll talk to young players about him, about how to be great without shouting it, about how to carry yourself with dignity in every moment, because that's what Rhino did." The Cubs organization released a formal statement. Andre and Ryne represented the heart and soul of Cubs baseball. We are heartbroken at the loss of Sandberg and deeply moved by Andre's words. Their brotherhood was one of quiet depth, and we are grateful for the light they brought to this franchise. Fans around the world flooded Dawson's post with messages of thanks. "You two were our childhood heroes," one comment read. "Now you're our forever memories." At Wrigley Field, a moment of silence was held before the next Cubs game. Dawson sat behind home plate, holding a Cubs cap in his hands. A single tear rolled down his cheek, visible on the jumbotron to tens of thousands who stood with him in mourning. "Sad. He was more than my teammate," Dawson told a reporter. "He was my anchor in that dugout, the guy I could count on every day. I think we all just lost a little bit of light." Dawson announced plans to establish a youth baseball scholarship in Sandberg's name, one that promotes leadership, humility, and commitment to the game. "I want his name on the lips of the next generation. I want his story to be told, not just how he played, but how he lived." Ryne Sandberg, affectionately known as Rhino, died after a private battle with prostate cancer.
His death left fans, players, and fellow Hall of Famers mourning the loss of a man whose legacy went far beyond unforgettable plays on the diamond.
Born September 18, 1959, in Spokane, Washington, he was named after Ryne Dawson, a hard-throwing Yankees reliever. From a young age, Sandberg displayed rare athleticism, excelling in baseball, basketball, and football. Though offered a football scholarship to Washington State, he chose baseball after being drafted by the Philadelphia Phillies in 1978. Ironically, Sandberg's rise began not in Philadelphia, but after a lopsided trade that sent him and Larry Bauer to the Cubs in 1982. By the end of the decade, he had become one of baseball's most respected stars. In 1984, Sandberg had his breakout year, batting .314 with 19 home runs, 84 RBIs, and 32 stolen bases, earning the National League MVP award and helping lead the Cubs to their first postseason since 1945. His legendary performance against the Cardinals in June of that year, later dubbed the Sandberg Game, cemented his place in baseball history. Over his 16-year career, Sandberg earned 10 All-Star selections, 9 Gold Gloves, 7 Silver Sluggers, and finished with a .285 average, 282 home runs, 344 stolen bases, and over 2,300 hits. He redefined second base with graceful double plays, superb range, and unshakable poise. He retired in 1997 and was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2005. His induction speech, centered on respect, is still considered one of the most powerful in Hall of Fame history. After retirement, he remained close to the game as a minor league manager and later as manager of the Phillies. Off the field, Sandberg was a devoted family man, married to his high school sweetheart Cindy, with whom he had 4 children and numerous grandchildren. Family, he often said, was everything. In January 2024, Sandberg publicly revealed his prostate cancer diagnosis. He faced it with strength and dignity, continuing to support charitable causes and connect with fans as much as possible. His family announced his passing in a heartfelt statement. Sad, Ryan faced his illness with the same quiet strength and dignity that defined his life. Tributes poured in. The Cubs lowered the flags at Wrigley to half-staff and announced plans for a commemorative statue. Cal Ripken Jr. called him thoughtful, the ultimate competitor. Fans built a memorial outside Wrigley, covering the ivy with caps, notes, and flowers. Ryne Sandberg's legacy was not only measured in stats, but in how he carried himself, with humility, dignity, and grace. He became a symbol of hope for Cubs fans and a
Hall of Fame in Cubs fans' hearts
and in players who emulate his integrity. As the ivy grows at Wrigley, so too will the memory of Ryne Sandberg, rooted in excellence, humility, and timeless grace. If this tribute touched your heart and reminded you of the beauty of true friendship and sportsmanship, like, comment and subscribe for more stories honouring legends of the game. Share your favourite Ryne Sandberg moment below. From the field to forever, Ryne Sandberg will always be remembered.